Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing the Skinny on healthy ice creams. If you are new to my channel, hello and welcome. My name is Becca. I'm a registered dietitian, and if you've never seen one of my skinny videos before, basically what I do is I pick a certain food product. It's usually just suggestions from you guys, and we will just kind of go through these products together. I will analyze them from a nutrition standpoint. We look at the nutrition facts, and then we look at the ingredient lists, and basically just kind of break down the products, look what's really in them. Are they processed? Is there junk in there that maybe we shouldn't be consuming? Are the ingredients maybe not so bad? My hope for these videos is that I can teach you guys to go through the nutrition label and really just decipher what's going on in a product. And obviously I'm not going to be able to go through every single healthy ice cream in this video, but hopefully by watching me go through the examples today, when you find yourself in the grocery store looking at one that maybe wasn't mentioned in this video, you can analyze it yourself with the tools, that I'm giving you in this video. And you may not always be able to buy the best product on the shelf or the cleanest or the wholest or whatever, but as long as you can buy, maybe a better version, whatever you can afford, whatever's available to you, if you're always just trying to do the best that you can, that's a win, right? So now just to jump into this video, I'm going to be going over a few different healthy ice creams today. I get so many requests, it's crazy, about, what's my opinion on Halotop and Arctic Zero and ice creams like that. So we're going to be going over those as well as a couple others today, just to kind of see what is going on in these products and, what are they actually made of and are they too good to be true? So healthy ice cream alternatives have been blowing up in the food industry lately. They first got kind of popular because people started to go for more dairy-free options because they were a little lighter, if you will. But what has definitely really become popular recently is like the high-protein, low-calorie ice creams like the Halotop and Arctic Zero. And those have really gained a lot of popularity, and the main reason for that is because you can eat a whole pint and it's only a few hundred calories. So obviously it's not real ice cream. Obviously it's going to have some different stuff in there to make it lower calorie but still taste creamy and taste like it has a lot of fat in it. Why do we like ice cream so much is because it's creamy and decadent, and as humans we like the taste of fat. Fat tastes good. So when you take a low-fat ice cream and you want it to still be creamy and decadent and delicious and not icy and gritty and gross, you obviously have to add some stuff into it to improve the texture and make it a lot more smooth and creamy like regular ice cream that is full of fatty cream. And just one more thing I want to mention on that before rolling into some examples. Here in the US at least, we have major portion distortion, everything is supersized, and we've kind of become accustomed to this idea that, we want to have our cake and eat it too. So we want to be able to eat ice cream, we want to be able to eat a lot of ice cream and indulge in a whole pint of ice cream, but we don't necessarily want all the calories that comes with eating a whole pint of ice cream. So we've gone down this kind of weird path of like, hey, you can still binge, you can eat this whole pint, and guess what, it's only 240 calories, but I don't know if that's necessarily the best thing, but we're going to look at the products. So personally, I don't necessarily love the idea of like you can have this whole pint of ice cream and it's barely any calories, because I think it goes against like portion control and listening to your body and just having a little bit of everything and everything in moderation, because eating a whole pint of ice cream on the reg is not moderation, right? As I say in these Skinny On videos, I am never here to tell you you can't eat that, or you shouldn't eat that, or that is bad, it's off limits. I am never here to say that. I'm just here to go over the facts, give you guys the information so that you can make your own educated decision on whether or not you want to eat something and consume it and put it in your body. So I'm going to be going over 5 different brands, and I'm going to look at just like the vanilla version of each brand just to try and keep things as consistent and easy to compare as possible. Obviously with different flavors there could be even more things added, but just for simplicity we're just going to stick to vanilla. And then one very last and final thing before we jump into these examples, I just want a quick run through like what the nutrition facts / ingredients of just normal vanilla ice cream. That way we have like a better comparison to see like how better these are. So in a ½ cup serving of just regular vanilla ice cream, there's about 130 calories, about 7 grams of fat, 4 grams of saturated fat, 35 milligrams of sodium, 14 grams of sugar, and 2 grams of protein. So that's kind of like our baseline, what we're comparing to, since these are all ice cream alternatives. They're supposed to be healthier than ice cream. And then typical ingredients for just regular old ice cream is going to be cream, sometimes milk too, sugar, and then usually like vanilla extract, for example, if it's vanilla. So very, very simple, nothing weird in there. It's usually just very simple. However, I will say when I was looking up just regular brands of ice cream and looking at their ingredients, I was actually surprised to see that some, even popular brands will have some things added in other than just those simple ingredients as well. Maybe it's just for shelf stability or improving taste, but technically ice cream should really only be like cream, sugar, flavoring, maybe some milk. Very simple. So the first one I'm going to be looking at is Halotop, and this is the vanilla bean flavor. So for a half a cup serving, there is 60 calories, so about half of regular ice cream, 1.5 grams of fat, 1 gram of saturated, so definitely lower, 110 milligrams of sodium, so definitely more sodium than regular ice cream. There is 4 grams of sugar and then 4 grams of sugar alcohols, which we'll talk about in a second, and then 6 grams of protein. And then moving on to the ingredients. The ingredients are milk and cream, eggs, erythritol, which is a sugar alcohol, prebiotic fiber, so they're adding fiber to it, milk protein concentrate, which I'm assuming is just how they are bumping up the protein in this ice cream, organic cane sugar, vegetable glycerin, organic vanilla extract, organic vanilla beans, sea salt, and then carob gum, guar gum, and some stevia. So just looking at this list of ingredients, it's obviously, kind of long. There's a decent amount of stuff in that little pint. So we've got obviously our normal ingredients, milk and cream. Sometimes people will put egg yolks in ice cream, so eggs, fine. Erythritol is a sugar alcohol, so it's used as an artificial sweetener. There aren't any major disadvantages to consuming them. If you consume them in large amounts, they can cause some GI distress just because they're osmotic, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's artificial, it's not a real thing, so it's up to you whether or not you want to consume fake stuff. We've got the sugar alcohols. It also has vegetable glycerin, which is interesting. I know vegetable glycerin can be used as a sweetener since it is sweet. It also, I think, is used to help keep moisture in different food products, so I've never actually, I rarely see that in food products, so that's just interesting. But obviously it's helping with maybe some sweetness and also just texture because it's not real ice cream. And then other than that, there are 2 different types of gums which are going to help thicken and improve the texture, make things more creamy, because this does not have enough fat in it for it to be creamy on its own. They have to add those in for us to have that nice texture that we like, because we like that. And then the very last thing is just stevia. So it's got some artificial sweeteners, both stevia and the erythritol. It's got some gums, it's got a little bit of vegetable glycerin. So those are the things that really stand out to me. They've added some fiber and protein, but I don't see the big deal in that. So yeah, it's definitely got some stuff in there. It is not, the most natural product. It is a little bit processed because it has all of these additives. And again, it's a personal choice whether or not you would like to consume a more processed ice cream or just stick to the basics, but that is the ingredient list for the Halotop. Moving on, the next one is Arctic Zero. I know this one is super, super popular, as well as Halotop, but this Arctic Zero has a million different flavors, which I think people are really drawn to because they can have pretty much any ice cream flavor under the sun and can eat a lot of it for not a lot of calories. So let's look at the nutrition facts. This is for the vanilla maple flavor. That was the only vanilla flavor that they had. So same serving size for this, it's a half a cup. So this only has 35 calories per serving, which is even less. This is about half of the Halotop, so way less than traditional ice cream. It has 0 grams of fat, no fat whatsoever. Interesting. 80 milligrams of sodium, so a little bit lower than the Halotop, which is good. It has 2 grams of fiber, 5 grams of sugar, and 3 grams of protein. So not a whole lot of sugar, and the protein is lower. It's much more similar to regular ice cream versus the Halotop had that protein added. So then let's look at the ingredients for Arctic Zero. So the first ingredient, interesting, is purified water. So the first ingredient in this ice cream is water, so okay. The next ingredient is whey protein, although it's only 3 grams of protein per serving, which is not that much, so I can't imagine that this is really filled with whey protein. Next ingredient is organic cane sugar, then chicory root, which is a fiber, sugar cane fiber, which is another fiber apparently, guar gum, xanthan gum, natural flavors, organic vanilla, sea salt, and monk fruit concentrate. So it's basically just frozen. So it's basically just protein powder mixed with water frozen, and then they add some stuff into it to sweeten it up and then also to make it a little more creamy. pretty much is what's going on here. So we've got the fiber added, that can help with like bulk and texture. We've got the 2 different gums, again that's gonna help with that texture, make it more creamy so it tastes like it actually has fat in it, which it has 0 naturally. Some natural flavors thrown in there, and then also some monk fruit, which is an artificial sweetener. So again, definitely some stuff in there. It's not real ice cream, this actually doesn't have any fat at all. So they obviously have to add stuff to it to make it taste like fat. Again, it's up to you whether or not you want to consume the artificial stuff or the additives, but it is definitely a processed product, more so processed than regular ice cream. Okay, moving on. The next one I'm going to be looking at is the So Delicious. This is the creamy vanilla, and I'm going to be looking at like the soy version. They have a bunch of different, they've got cashew milk, almond milk, coconut, all of that, but we're going to be looking at the soy one for So Delicious. So for a ½ cup serving, just like the other ones, there is 120 calories. So this is a lot more like regular ice cream. It's not a low calorie version. Total fat is only 3 grams and there is no saturated fat, so definitely a lot lower than regular ice cream. There is only 5 milligrams of sodium, so basically none. There is 14 grams of sugar, so this is just like regular ice cream, and 2 grams of protein. So this is obviously the closest that we've seen to regular ice cream, because this, the soy ice cream isn't necessarily trying to be a low calorie or high protein or anything like that. It's just a dairy alternative, but dairy is high in fat. Well, it's at least ice cream because they're using cream to make it, and soy has very little fat. So the benefit of consuming this is it's going to be much lower in fat and saturated fat versus eating regular ice cream, but everything else is pretty similar. So looking at the ingredients, organic soy milk is the first ingredient, which is what we want, soy ice cream. The next is organic tapioca syrup, which is just sugar. Then organic dried cane syrup, which is another form of sugar. Organic soybean oil, chicory root extract, locust bean gum, vanilla extract, natural flavor, guar gum, and gellan gum. So this, again, also is going to have a lot of those gums and thickeners added because it's much lower in fat than ice cream, but we want to have our cake and eat it too. We want to eat low-fat ice cream, but we still want it to taste like ice cream. So that's why all of that stuff is added in. There are no artificial sweeteners in this one. It all comes from real sources, but again, it's still sugar at the end of the day. But other than that, the main things that stick out in here is just all of those, the gums and the fiber added to improve that texture. So again, your choice. And then moving on, the next one I'm going to be looking at is the brand Almond Dream. I'm just going to be looking at their vanilla flavor. So obviously this is made from almond milk. Probably going to be similar to the one before it, which would be my guess. So for a ½ cup serving, same as all the other ones we were looking at, it has 140 calories, so actually just a little bit more than a serving of ice cream. 7 grams of fat with 1 gram of saturated fat, which is pretty similar to regular ice cream, except it's lower in saturated fat, obviously because almonds are the good fats, they're the mono and the poly unsaturated fats. So that's mainly where the fat is coming from in this. 170 milligrams of sodium, which really is not that high, overall. 140 milligrams or below for a serving size is always considered, for any food product, is considered low sodium. So 170 milligrams, not that high. Higher than the other ones, yes. Then again, if we're talking about multiple servings of this Almond Dream ice cream, then we're getting a decent chunk of sodium there, but just as one serving, it's really not that big of a deal. There is 12 grams of sugar, so a little bit less than the soy ice cream and as well as regular ice cream, and definitely more than the Halotop in the Arctic Zone, or Arctic Zero. And then there's only 1 gram of protein, so barely any protein. And then as far as ingredients for this Almond Dream, filtered water, evaporated cane syrup, almonds, expeller pressed oil, tapioca, maltodextrin, natural vanilla extract, potato starch, guar gum, carabine gum, carrageenan, sunflower lecithin, sea salt, and natural flavors. So this may be the longest ingredient list we've seen thus far. So the first few ingredients are basically like sweetened almond milk. Then as we move down, starting with tapioca, maltodextrin, this is kind of where we get into the additives and the stabilizers and the thickeners and all that kind of stuff that they're adding into this because it's low in fat and they want it to taste creamy, or at least as creamy as they can get it. So starting with the tapioca, maltodextrin, that is just kind of a filler. Dextrin is basically a carbohydrate fragment, so they add that in kind of as a filler. We also have some potato starch in there. Starch is used as a thickener. Guar gum, carab bean gum, and then carrageenan, all of those are used as thickeners. Carrageenan is actually a little bit controversial. It has some potential interesting side effects. A lot of people like to avoid carrageenans. Next is sunflower lecithin, which I'm surprised we haven't seen any other lecithins thus far. Lecithin is used as an emulsifier, which basically just means it helps to keep everything homogeneous and keep things from separating out. When you have something that is low in fat, it's not going to mix and stay creamy on its own. It's going to tend to separate. But when you add in an emulsifier, it just keeps everything mixed and happy and suspended without separating out, because if it separates out, the texture is weird and you're not going to like the taste, pretty much. So we've got the lecithin, and then just a little bit of sea salt and natural flavors. So again, this is processed. It has additives, it has thickeners, it has stabilizers. It's not, you know, your whole ice cream by any means. It is lower in fat, which can be a good thing. But again, it's a processed product. It's up to you whether or not you want to consume this. And then the very last one I'm going to be going over today is Coconut Bliss. And I'm going to be looking at the Island or Vanilla Island flavor. So for a half cup serving size, just like all the others, it has 210 calories, which is the highest we've seen thus far and actually higher than ice cream. And that is because coconuts are very fatty. So we've got total fat in this is 16 grams, which is much higher than ice cream at just 7 grams. 14 grams of that fat is saturated fat. So before we move on, let me just touch on coconuts and saturated fat. There is some research to suggest that the type of saturated fat in coconuts, because there isn't just saturated fat, there's not a million, but lots and lots of different types with all kinds of different structures, so they react differently in our body and can cause different side effects, whether they're good or bad. So the type of saturated fatty acids that are found in coconut saturated fat can potentially be beneficial for our cholesterol levels. It can raise up the HDL, which is good, and lower the LDL, which is bad, which is why people are like, you know, coconuts are great, who cares if there's fat? My take on coconuts is, I mean, that's exciting, that's a good little piece of information, that's comforting, I guess, but if you are someone who has a diet that is high in saturated fat to begin with, so like the typical American diet, and you just add in coconut oil because someone told you it was healthy, and you're just adding that on top of everything else that you're eating, it's still extra saturated fat. And then people will say, you know, look at other countries who eat coconut oil, it's a staple. They have coconut oil and coconut milk, they eat it every day, all day long, and look, they have no heart disease. But they also don't eat an American diet. They eat lots of beans and lots of vegetables and very little meat, and you know, so we can't necessarily just compare. It's apples and oranges. So just wanted to throw that out there because I know people are like pretty obsessed with coconut oil, and that's just kind of like my take / you know, a little bit of where the research stands. So if you want to consume coconuts, that again is up to you. Some people have diets that are very low in saturated fat, so who really cares if you're eating coconuts? But you know, if you're someone with a typical American diet who eats a lot of dairy and a lot of cheese and very little fruits and vegetables or whole grains, maybe coconut products are not the best for you. Okay, so moving on, done with the coconut tangent. So there is 35 milligrams of sodium, which is super low, just like regular ice cream. There is 13 grams of sugar, which is very similar to regular ice cream, and only 1 gram of protein. So the ingredients in this organic coconut ice cream is organic coconut milk, which is made up of coconut water and some guar gum, which is again one of those thickeners. It's got some organic agave syrup, which is a natural sweetener. Agave is probably one of the most processed natural sweeteners. Organic coconut cream, organic vanilla extract, and organic vanilla beans. So as far as the ingredients go for all of these alternatives that we looked at, the coconut is by far the best. It is the shortest ingredient list. Everything is pretty natural or normal other than the one gum that they've added. So ingredient wise, this is definitely the best, you know, compared to regular ice cream because it's the shortest and the most real, if you will. But then again, it is the highest in calories and fat. So you gotta kind of weigh your options here. This may be a great option for someone, or it may be a terrible option for another person, just depending on A, what you like, and B, what your diet consists of mainly. So those are the 5 different ice cream alternatives I wanted to go over today. I hope that you guys found this helpful. My overall thoughts would be that at the end of the day, they are still processed products. They're not crazy processed. I mean, there are definitely some snack foods or, you know, just different food items out there that have much longer ingredient lists and a lot scarier ingredients in there. But, you know, they are still processed. These aren't naturally occurring things. They are manipulated in the lab to improve taste and texture, so we will feel like we're eating ice cream without necessarily all the added fat that comes with ice cream. So whether you're choosing these because you just don't eat dairy, or you're choosing them because they're lower in fat, you know, or you would rather have artificial sweeteners over regular sugar and save on those calories, you know, that's all up to you. Again, I'm not here to tell you what to eat. My personal opinion, if you are curious, is I always just tend to stick to the real stuff and everything in moderation. That's just my MO. I would rather cut down on the processed stuff in my diet because we don't necessarily know the long-term effects of some of these things because they are newer. I mean, obviously they're all regarded as safe now, they're in our food, but I mean, you just never know, and I just prefer to go the real route, you know, whenever I can. So again, it's a personal choice, it's a personal opinion. I'm not here to sway you either way, but I hope that you found this informational, and I hope that you know, feel like you can make a more informed decision now when it comes to these different types of ice creams. So that is all I have for this video, guys. I really hope that you enjoyed it, but more importantly, I hope that you learned from it and found it helpful. If you have any requests for future skinny video topics, please leave those down below. I am definitely going to be doing salad dressings very soon because that has been highly requested. I'm also going to be doing one on juice because I think that'll be fun, and I've got a lot of requests for that as well. So leave those requests down below in the comment section and I will add them to my list. And yeah, so that's all I have for this video, guys. If you're not following me on Instagram and Snapchat, you should be. I'm on there pretty much every day, and I usually always give you guys sneak peeks about what skinny video is coming next. So if you love this series, you should definitely be following me on Snapchat because you'll be in the know of what's coming up next. And of course, if you're not already subscribed to my channel, if the button is still red down there, please just click it. Come on, join the community. I would love to have you here. We just have a lot of fun here on my channel, and the more the merrier, honestly. So if you want to join my community, I would love to have you. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. But that's all I got, guys. So thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I really hope to see you in the next one. Bye!